Hey folks, did you have a crappy July? Did something happen last month that made your life difficult or challenging? Then you may want to stay tuned for this video, because it could be of some help to you. Welcome back to the NewmanBeings channel. My name is Jeff, and this is my vlog dedicated to conscious evolution. So I don't know about you, but the last couple months have been pretty challenging for me. Over the last 2 months, especially the last month, July, certain aspects of my life have been in a process of overhaul. But also during those months, I have grown so much. But it wasn't exactly easy. It was that kind of growth that only comes about when you find yourself in situations that force you to reevaluate certain aspects of your life. I had some major issues come up with work. I was feeling physically not well. I was having back pain and indigestion. I was getting short bouts of dizziness. I won't go into too much detail at this point, but suffice to say that it was a challenging time. And I was really forced to look at some of my habits and where they were leading me. And at the same time that all this was going on, one of my close friends was kind of going through the same thing. She's a close friend of mine, so we would keep in touch and offer each other support while going through difficult times. And it turns out she was also going through things that forced her to reevaluate certain aspects of her own life. And she had to come to some very difficult decisions in order to get herself on the right track, the track that she wanted to go down. So this whole time while we were talking, we were both going through some difficult stuff, and we're consoling each other and giving each other moral support. We were like, wow, this is kind of trippy that you and I are both going through not the same things. We each had our own situations, but we were both going through things that really made us stop and think about our previous behaviors and how these behaviors should be changed. Now, this didn't actually surprise me that much, because I don't believe in coincidence. I believe in non-local quantum entanglement. And then I stumbled across something. Just a few days ago, on July 29th, I stumbled randomly across this YouTube video, and it was about the new moon and the lunar eclipse on August 31st at 11:11 p.m. Eastern Time. And in the video, they talked about how July was a time of clearing away old habits or purging ourselves of things that held us back or no longer served us. And it was all to pave the way for changes that would come about in August after the new moon, after the lunar eclipse. And pretty much everything that was mentioned in this video pertained to something that was occurring in my life. And I shared this video with my friend, and she was like, oh my gosh, this video is spot on. It's like it's almost narrating my life too over the past month or so. And so of course I got curious and I looked deeper into this whole new moon phenomenon. Now, I'm not too knowledgeable about astrology. It's not something that I've spent a lot of time looking into, but I do believe in it. I know a lot of people knock astrology, but you know what? What little I have learned about astrology still makes way more sense to me than the idea that this tiny little speck called Earth within this insurmountably vast galaxy, which is only one of the 100 billion galaxies that have been observed in the known universe so far, is the only thing that matters, and none of the rest of it, in all of its epic glory and mathematical precision, has any connection or significance to us whatsoever. But I digress. So, to summarize what I learned in my research of this new moon phenomenon, this particular time, marked by the lunar eclipse or black moon, and the Mercury retrograde, is one that brings about new beginnings. And the time preceding up to that is a time of clearing away old habits or relationships or whatever attachments are holding us back and no longer serving us. Now, there is more to it than that, but like I said, kind of just like a summary of what I picked up, especially the stuff that pertained to me and my friend. That's kind of like my main takeaway from it. And it absolutely makes sense given the things that have been going on in my life in the past 2 months. If you want to know more about it and how you can take advantage of this opportunity to make changes in your life, I recommend doing just like a Google or YouTube search on Black Moon July 2019 or Lunar Eclipse July 2019. Anything like that will pop up a bunch of results. But of course, do that after you finish watching and like this video. And speaking of change, I'd now like to share some insight that might help you find folks in changing some old habits that no longer serve you. We've all at one point or another wanted to make some sort of change in our life, and because of that, we all are familiar with how hard it is to change our habits. But why is it so hard to change? Now, I'll tell you right now that I am no stranger to procrastination. In fact, until somewhat recently, I found it to be the biggest problem in my life, the main thing that was holding me back from my potential. I was stuck in my comfort zone for far too long. So why does this happen? Why is it so hard to implement these changes that we know we should make? Well, to put it simply, it's because we actually run most of our life on autopilot. Whenever we're not focused to a certain degree, our subconscious actually takes over and runs our life for us. So without a certain degree of presence, our programmed, conditioned mental patterns kick in and just start, taking over for us. Kind of like when you're driving, you don't have to think about driving, you just kind of like do it, and you can talk or chew bubble gum at the same time. We act out our conditioned mental patterns. But because we're not aware that we're doing this, we identify with those patterns, and we believe that it is ourselves that are saying and doing these things. We think that because these thoughts and these words and these actions are coming from our mind, our mouths, and our bodies, that it's us doing it. And I mean, it is us. It is you doing those things, This isn't like an excuse for you to go and do whatever you want and be like, no, that wasn't me. But it's not the real us. It's not the true, deeper us. It's not the actual conscious mind, the point in our consciousness where we actually make all our decisions. And here's the thing, our mind is programmed to keep us safe. And that sounds all well and good, and it is, but the sort of unfortunate side effect to that is that our programmed mind will actually keep us from trying anything if it deems it as scary or risky. And yes, this can protect us from, physical danger or emotional pain, but it's also what keeps us stuck in our comfort zones. It's what keeps you stuck in a present situation, even if you don't want to be in that situation anymore. So this could be a job, a relationship, a friendship, anything. So then, how do we overcome this? Well, one method that I can recommend is what I call bypassing the mind. Now let me explain what I mean. A lot of times we'll come up with an idea. And it could be an idea like a creative thing, for example, like, oh, I'm gonna write about this, or I'm gonna make this video on my YouTube channel, or, I'm gonna try out this venture. But it could also be an idea like, oh, you know what, this thing is not working out for me anymore, I should get out, or I should try something different. But what happens a lot of the time is, between the idea and the execution, our mental programs actually will stop it in its tracks. And it does this because its job is self-preservation. Or another way of saying this is, it does it because of fear. Fear that the idea will fail, or that it'll result in rejection, loss, injury, or some other form of pain. So for example, you may have an idea that you think will benefit you, but if you don't act on it immediately, you create this time gap. And it is within that gap of time that your conditioned mind will actually start flooding your awareness with logic or reasons why you shouldn't do it. Your mind is quite good at doing this because that's its job. So one thing that I started doing when I became aware of this problem is I adopted this saying, and I would just say it to myself, and it's bypass the mind. I remember I even had it on my morning alarm when I woke up, my alarm on my phone, the title would be bypass the mind as a sort of reminder. And what I mean by bypassing the mind is to start getting in the practice of skipping straight from the inspiration, the idea, to physical action, to just moving your body. Don't hesitate and give your mind an opportunity to start throwing in all these reasons why you shouldn't do it or why you should avoid that situation altogether. Like for example, there'd be times where on my schedule it would say, okay, 10 o'clock, go to the gym. And then 10 a.m. would roll around and I'd be like, oh, well, I'm kind of tired, I can always go tomorrow. So what I did was just start practicing skipping straight to physical action. Obviously, the first thing you need to do is be aware of your own thoughts, is to be able to catch yourself going, oh, there's that mind jumping in and trying to stop me. So when I was practicing this successfully, what would happen is 10 a.m. my alarm goes up, hey, time to go to the gym. And the moment I noticed my mind trying to reason with me about going to the gym, I would just start moving physically. I would walk over to my closet really quick, grab my gym clothes, and just start changing. And so if you do this enough, you'll actually start rewiring your brain. You'll actually start to build this new habit. And you'll find that your mind will always come up with good reasons, and they're never actually good reasons. Your mind is just doing what it's always done. It's running on autopilot. So give that a try. Practice that. Skip straight from inspiration to physical motion, physical action, and just make it a practice. Just like every other practice, it probably won't be consistently successful at first, but just keep at it. And the more you do it, the easier it'll get. So hopefully that'll be of some help to you folks out there who are currently looking to clear away old things in your life that no longer serve you. So, did you find yourself going through something last month that kind of forced you to reevaluate an aspect of your life? Did you know about the new moon or the lunar eclipse or what it meant to us? I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say about this. So if you want to share, please leave me a comment down here in the comments section. I'm interested to hear about what you guys have been going through in your journey. So once again, my sincere gratitude for giving this channel your time and your attention once more this week. Please make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. It helps me out quite a bit. I wish you all the best of luck and hope you will take advantage of this time for change as an opportunity to evolve to a higher version of yourself. Thanks again and have a wonderful week.